Guess it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the Late Night Dilly. I am Buddy Martin, glad to be with you again this week. It's Tennessee week. Yes, it is. Whatever happened to all that fire? Used to be in this grudge match between the Vols and the Gators. Talked with the head ball coach today. We reminisced a little bit about those days when Florida-Tennessee was the game that catapulted you into the championship game. If you won the third game of the year, then you were going to go to Atlanta. That's how it was. Florida won more than their fair share. We'll talk with Coach Spurrier a little bit later in the week. But today on the program, very glad to have John Adams, the veteran sports columnist for the Knoxville News-Sentinel, who's seen many of these, probably 30, 35, 40 of these games. And from the Tennessee perspective mostly, although he began his career in Florida in Jacksonville. John will join us in just a moment. We'll chat with him for a minute on the program tonight. The Minister of Information will be here. Graham Hall will join us. He'll give his 2 cents worth about what's the injury to Malik Davis, how long will he be out, who will be able to play this week, who didn't play last week, and what the practice report was. I'll watch the press conference today. Dan Mullen gave a long dissertation on how to play quarterback and the importance of processing information, as we're talking about Felipe Franks. We'll get into that a little bit later on with Graham. Also, Franz Beard will come along and give his perspective on things, thoughts of the day. A little bit about Urban Meyer. I know we're kind of all sick of that story, but today it was in the news again, and we'll share a few thoughts about that, share a few thoughts about that. So the Crown Prince just texted me and said he's on his way in. So we'll wait for him to arrive. Meanwhile, good evening to Chris Whitfield, to Bill Pittman, to Matthew Helms, Al Rodriguez, Jake Allen Lamb, David Baldoff, and Beth Lohr, Scott Jordan, Roger Burns over in Ningbo, China. How about that? Roger, glad you made it. Jacob Borden and others. We'll get to you folks and your comments in a minute. We got to get to our guests and get to our information we got here. Got something new for you to see, and we're going to do that in just a minute. We got a Crown Prince Collection new commercial. See what your thoughts are on that. So it's my pleasure to be with you tonight on the program. Thanks to all our sponsors, Late Night Dilly, especially to CD Farms, our friends over there. As you see, Chris and his bride together at the days of when we were back on the Gator Walk. Tracy, and back in the day when we had that shirt. We still got it. CD Farms, of course, you get your pasture-fed beef there and fresh vegetables as well. We're going to do this, though, and also remind you about Mark's Prime, one of our fine sponsors tonight, along with Daniel L. Hightower and others. We'll play this commercial for Daniel L. Hightower. We'll be back in a minute with our first guest, John Adams. Well, we won't, because it's not loaded. So we'll play this beautiful new commercial. Check it out. our programming here, regular programming, and see if we can get a hold of our friend John Adams, veteran sports columnist, one of the best in the business, a guy who knows the game and who knows the series, who knows the rivalry, knows the history of the football team as well, and so it's always good to have a guy with some credentials. You know, when you got some kind of credentials, you can actually show. And journalists, I believe we've got the Crown Prince on his way in. I'm trying to get my Skype to operate here tonight. Got a lot of stuff going on. Let's see. Here comes the music. Here comes the music. Well, there you go. Oh, my goodness. Wow. There it is. Well, I try to get our friend on here. Yep. Oh, boy. Here he is, folks.
Everybody, rock it up, you'll always be Gator Bay to me.
Okay, excuse me, I'm trying to get my guests on here. If you don't,
I don't care about your guests. I don't care about anything. I care about Tennessee Hate Week is what I care about.
All right, pull up a chair.
Hello.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, buddy.
Thanks for being on the program. Appreciate it.
Sure.
I was looking at your column just a moment ago about this series and how it's called Back and Forth. And Florida had its way for a long time, and you talked about slapping people in the mouth, and your lead was something along the lines of a strange thing happened the last time Tennessee and Florida met at Neyland Stadium. The Gators folded. The Tennessee spotted a 21-0 lead 2 years ago before blowing past the Gators in the second half for a 38-28 victory. And as you say, the second half collapse was hardly indicative of how the series has gone since the SEC went to divisional play in 1992. I want to get your take on. I want you to educate the millennials. I was talking to Steve Spurrier today, and I don't know if people understand how big this game used to be. I mean, it was tantamount to making it to Atlanta if you won that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, sometimes teams were able to work through losing the game, but there was the feeling if you did lose it, your hopes were gone. You were really having to rely on a lot of other things happen. Sometimes they did, or often they didn't. And when you go back and look at the series, it really was kind of the high point of Florida's dominance of the SEC. When you go back to that mid-'90s run when Spurrier was the coach, Tennessee and Florida met time and time again, and Florida prevailed on a way to an SEC championship, and eventually in '96, of course, I guess it was the national title. But Tennessee, as important as the series was, though, buddy, it's really always been in Florida's favor. I mean, it's substantially. Florida's been very dominant in this series. It won when both teams were good, predominantly, and it has won recently when both teams haven't been that good. So that's why I thought the game a couple of years ago here was kind of an aberration to the series.
That's what you're trying to say, I think, that it was an aberration.
Yeah, it was very striking to see Florida perform that way. Florida was not a great team, certainly, and neither was Tennessee, but Florida was so sharp in the first half, and then it just unraveled in the second half. And we've seen Florida make great runs like that during the series. They did that in '95 at the end of the game, and in '96 to open it. Great runs, but this went the other way. And that's why it was so striking to me.
We talked today about Spurrier's 8-4 record, and of all the games he played there, the one that was most painful was 2001, because he really thought he had a national championship. That, of course, was the 9/11 game that was postponed, and Tennessee came back to win that game. In a close at the Swamp. And Spurrier's last game he ever coached at the field, now named for him, and upset by Philip Fulmer's team. So that was one he'll never forget for sure. But are there any other striking moments for you? And John, I'm going to guess you covered at least 30 of these. Am I right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I came to Knoxville in '87, so I've covered a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact count, but they went to divisional play in '92,
right?
So certainly well over 20 games.
Yeah. So is there one? I mean, there's a Jabbar Gaffney catch that people thought maybe he didn't have, and even Spurrier said today in the interview I'm going to play there in a week that if they had replayed, that probably wouldn't have stood. There was that play. Any other games that strike you?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, really, those '90s games were what stick out more because they were such important games, as you alluded to earlier. But when I go back and I look at that '98 game that Tennessee won on the way to the national championship, that was a really odd game. Florida must have doubled Tennessee in yardage, it seemed like. I watched a replay of that game again this summer, and watching the game unfold, you would be hard pressed if you didn't know the outcome to think Tennessee would win that game. And it was so Al Wilson forced 3 fumbles. That was unusual, certainly. But Florida piled up a lot of yardage and didn't make the kind of plays to finish the deal like it did so often in the series. And Tennessee's 2 touchdowns were both strange. I mean, just a straight dive up the middle to the fullback, and the middle of the field parted, and Sean Bryson ran about 50 yards for a touchdown. T. Martin's touchdown pass was kind of a wobbly lob into the end zone that just landed just right. Tennessee only had 7 first downs in that game. 7 first downs. And won the game. And another thing, when I think back to that '98 season in regard to Tennessee and Florida, is Florida playing Florida State. What if Florida would have won that game? And it very well could have.
Yeah.
I thought it should have won. I think we could have seen a rematch for the national championship.
Yeah, and as Steve pointed out, I think Florida State and Tennessee wound up playing for that national championship, more or less.
Because Kansas State got knocked off the Big 12 championship game. That was an upset. UCLA got upset. All these things happened, but Florida had that second chance and couldn't pull off a game, even though Florida State was playing with a third string quarterback.
Yeah.
So it was but that '98 game really sticks out. There have been a lot of games. I mean, the last year's game, the last second pass play, 2 years earlier, the Will Greer game where he played so great in the fourth quarter against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then he came back and beat him again at West Virginia in a not so close game. But the game has produced a lot of great plays, unusual games, really unusual games. But bottom line, Florida's winning 3 out of every 4 pretty much.
Yeah. I read a stat today, and I think it was inaccurate. It was the right number, but not the right. Somebody wrote that Tennessee hadn't won an FBS game in the last 9 times, and Florida hadn't won the last 7. I think it meant Power 5, perhaps. I haven't looked that up. Have you looked that up? Do you know? That accurate?
Tennessee has lost 9 straight SEC games.
Oh, SEC games.
It beat Georgia Tech. Beat Georgia Tech to open the 2017 season.
Well, the stat was wrong on Twitter.
Shouldn't have won the game, but it did, yeah. And I think Florida's lost maybe 6 straight SEC games or
I think, I haven't looked it up. I just saw the tweet, and I should have checked it. But Tennessee's lost 8, you said, straight SEC games?
No, 9 straight. It lost to Vanderbilt in the 16 season, and then lost all 8 games last year. And I think, as I remember, Florida might have won its first 2 SEC games last year, and then
7 straight.
Maybe lost the rest of them, 6 straight. Well, no, 5 lost 5 straight because then it lost to Kentucky, of course, this season.
Right. So that would be the 7th probably. So
yeah.
okay. Yeah, 6 or 7. All right, so I don't know. I can't keep too many stats
well,
for me.
No, I know.
Yeah. Tell me about Tennessee's team. I saw them for about 5 minutes last weekend, and really not much of a match to look at. But tell me what the strength. I mean, obviously they're decent on defense and not very good on offense.
Buddy, I don't know that they're even decent on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these past 2 games, as I said, I've been here since '87.
Mm-hmm.
Worst 2 teams Tennessee's ever played back to back. ETSU a couple of weeks ago started its football program, restarted it rather, in 2015. It's an FCS program, but it's only been in business 3 years. Followed that up by UTEP. As you know, UTEP historically is one of the worst programs, maybe the worst in FBS. It lost all 12 games last year. It's now got a 15-game losing streak. Neither team was capable of throwing the ball. And so I really don't know if Tennessee's secondary has got any better, its pass rush has gotten any better. You can't tell. It was completely out of sorts against West Virginia in that opener. Now, I know Will Greer is one of the premier quarterbacks in the country. They have an excellent group of wide receivers. But Tennessee played 3 freshmen prominently in that game. And I just don't know that Tennessee's secondary has gotten any better. It doesn't have much of a pass rush. It didn't against West Virginia. I think Tennessee has maybe 2 sacks in 3 games. Its offensive line has been very consistent. Trey Smith, the All-SEC player, a sophomore, has not played as well this season as he did last, perhaps because he missed the off season with an illness. So it's really hard to say what are Tennessee's strengths. I will say that Jared Garantano as a quarterback has improved. He's managed the game, and that's primary with Jeremy Pruitt. He's a Nick Saban disciple, defensive coordinator. He wants a guy that, first of all, will take care of the ball. Garantano has done that, although against questionable competition. No interceptions. He's also been very accurate. 72% of his passes have been complete. He seems more decisive in the way he plays now. So, excuse me. So that, I would say, is a plus. And Tennessee's running backs have run pretty hard. And its wide receiving core is certainly better than it was last year. I think if you're looking at one thing, I would say the wide receiving group is improved. But when I look at this team, buddy, I mean, my game column on UTEP last Saturday was, the headline was something like Tennessee shows 4-8 potential in win over UTEP.
Wow.
I mean, this is a crucial game for Tennessee. If Tennessee can't beat Florida at home, I don't know when it's going to win an SEC game, if ever, this season.
Yeah, Florida's favored by 6, I believe, and that sounds a little high to me. I would have made it a 2 or 3 point game at most, in my opinion. But what do I know? I thought Colorado State would cover the 22, but they didn't. So there you go.
I looked at the line is. I thought it was a tad high. I was thinking it might be 3 or 4.
Yeah. All right. Just final comments to John. Thank you, John. It's been a while since we talked. For doing this for us and keeping us informed on the other side of what's going on up there in Knoxville with the team. And it'd be nice to see this once great rivalry get back, but it's going to be a long time before that happens. And just your perspective from where you are and what you see with Dan Mullen at Florida so far. I know you haven't had a chance to study him, but what's your take on it from up there?
Well, I have. I record a lot of SEC games and watch them because I write so much about the conference. So, I've watched all 3 of Florida's games. Charleston Southern couldn't tell much because they were so ineffective. But it was, it was unusual from watching Florida play against Kentucky and to see Kentucky's offensive line completely controlled the line of scrimmage. And
yes, they did.
I'm not used to seeing that with Florida. Just not used to it. And that was, I know Benny Snell is a really good running back.
Oh, he is. Really is.
He's a great running back. He plays hard. He just really fights for yards. Kind of running back I like to watch play. And Terry Wilson, the quarterback, played well against Florida. Played well last week in a meaningless game, but he can run. And I just was struck by that. And also, with Florida, I just don't think Florida's offensive line is that good.
Nope, you're right. We know that.
They played together a lot. And, going into last year, I remember Jim McElwain saying the offensive line could be the strength of the team. And
exactly.
It was probably a weak point.
Yes.
And with all the sacks and just erratic running game, and now I watch this team, and I feel the same way. And to me, the most interesting matchup in this game is Florida's offensive line that I just don't think is very good.
You're right.
Against Tennessee's defensive front, which has put no pressure on the quarterback.
Right.
It's outside linebackers and it's defensive ends. I mean, they're fortunate they make a tackle in the game. It's just a real interesting matchup. I think Tennessee, if it can pressure quarterback Felipe Franks, he's plenty mistake prone. But I'm not sure Tennessee can pressure him. So that's what I'm thinking of. I really like Dan Mullen as a coach, and he's had a great track record with quarterbacks. But when I watch this offense through 3 games, it doesn't look like a Dan Mullen offense. I mean, it's just so herky-jerky and inconsistent, and that kind of goes with how the quarterback is. He's very inconsistent. You know, he can make an NFL throw like the one that beat Tennessee last year.
Yes, Tyree Cleveland,
Yeah, I mean, that's a tremendous arm, but I just think when he starts moving around, he just looks awkward. And if I were a Florida fan, it'd be just hard to watch a close game with a quarterback. You know.
All right, my man, I appreciate it very much. I will not be making the trip this week, so I'll be watching on TV. So enjoy the game, and thanks so much, and hope we get a chance to chat again this season.
Well, thanks, buddy, and I'm sorry I won't get to see you. Take care.
I am too, John. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, John Adams from the Knoxville News-Sentinel joining us on the program. Glad to have John aboard. What you got there, big boy? Come on over and talk to me. Let me see if I can get these settings changed real fast so you can hear. Brendo, while we're doing that, why don't you share a little light on a few things with us? There you go. What is this you're doing now?
What is this I'm doing?
Uh-huh.
It's the Kiki, buddy.
Oh.
Kiki.
Sorry, I didn't pick up.
Stay loyal to the kingdom! Woo, you better take them headphones off.
Oh, my word. I tell you, I'm going to put them on.
You should take them off, because it's probably really loud in your head right now.
If I could just do the show, it'd be all right. That's the difficulty. So here's the internal speakers right here. Why are they not on?
Because we're going to do it over here. Hey, you guys just enjoy the song. Chat money, baby. What's up? Hello, everybody.
Broadcast on the new commercial. We're still on that.
Huh? You don't have the new commercial?
Yeah, I have it, yeah.
All right, you can unplug your headphones.
I played it.
There you go. What's up, JK? What's up, Buddy Martin Show people? Excited to come in. I've been out of town.
That's the microphone. Hold on. That's unplugged. That's headphone. All right. Hang on.
Hold on. My jam. There you go. Oh, there it goes. My favorite part.
Okay, I don't know if we're on or not. So
76 people on the late night Dilly. Welcome to Monday night. Monday Fun Day.
Oh, my word.
take that picture off of that
I'm trying
guy.
to get to it.
Who's that guy? Get over here. Let me drive.
Once you start doing
I'm just
mess
gonna
up my
drive.
board,
Let's get this off. Let's change the camera angles. Let's get
what happens, total chaos. I got to call the Minister of Information and play a couple spots.
Oh, Graham might need to get a beer.
No, he needs to. We need to call him pretty quick.
Why? Because he's not. Where's he doing?
What's he doing? He's waiting for us to call.
Is he? Graham, we'll get there, bro. Crack one open. Call you in a minute.
Sure, Okay, so let's get a hold of.
What are you doing? Are you going to call Graham? Can I do it? Can I just drive?
Play a commercial first.
Not really.
And then I'll do
I'm
that.
not a fan of commercials.
You're on one of them. I just played it, by the way, just so.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little disturbed with my face flashing around all over town.
Yeah, it's disturbing to see it. Good job by Tony, by the way. All right, let me see here. You're distracting. You're very distracted.
Clearly, you're distracted and you're trying to figure out what's going on.
So. With you, it's.
What are you trying to do? The question is, what are you trying to do? Do we need to call him right now?
This is what happens, folks, when you work
What's
4
up?
hours
Can you
to set
just stop
things
for
up.
a second? Graham will call you in 30 seconds. Just don't call him right now. Okay,
go ahead.
I know he's queued up. I could have done that for you.
All right, go ahead.
I can do all these things for
I
you.
want to tell him about Renstar real fast. You don't know how to do this.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. If you could see how he's got it all over here.
Because I've got.
Special buttons everywhere, and I'm not really quite
I do
sure
want to tell
how
about
it
the
all works
Renstar Player of the Week, though, if I may, if I can get that up on the screen. But it looks like it has faded away as well. Renstar Medical Research, too, by the way.
What's up, Renstar? Joey Sorrentino and Kun family, you guys are awesome. Thanks for supporting us. Renstar Medical Research, awesome business in town, does all sorts of cool stuff. I don't know what they're currently studying right now.
Our Renstar Star of the Week, so I'm trying to get
is me. Woo! Go Prince, Renstar!
Talk about trying to do a show and just chaos.
Woo!
Forget it, folks. Forget it.
Just forget it. I'm the Renstar Player of the Week. Who's the Renstar Player of the Week?
Orth from Buchholz.
Who is it?
It's Orth from Buchholz. I've got stats on him, but never mind.
Sorry, GNK. Sorry, Buddy Martin Show decided to come over tonight and just disrupt the entire program.
Exactly. All right, let me call Graham. I'll see what I can figure out. Before the night's out.
Let me call Graham.
Go ahead, please.
Please.
Jeez.
Just take a break, for God's sake.
Oh, you don't know where all the commercials are.
You're all
idea. I have no. If it's left to you, I'd have zero.
Hey, dude.
Clients. I'd have no.
Dilly.
Clients.
Dilly.
Yeah, right.
Just pick up your glass of wine, you grouchy dude, and Dilly. Cheers to me and you. Cheers. Cheers to the Monday night, late night Dilly. Cheers at home to all of you. Cheers to Renstar Medical Research.
By the way, thanks very much
to everybody.
Renstar
Cheers. You're not cheersing me. You're leaving me hanging.
Renstar for their participation in Renstar Star of the Week. Orth, a player from Buchholz, we'll have his stats later, was named by our Player of the Week, Renstar Star of the Week. Renstar, of course, is a superior medical research facility with a proven reputation as a high-quality, patient-centered clinical research facility. Renstar Medical Research begins cutting-edge clinical research. And they've had trials in Ocala areas, such things as Alzheimer's, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraine, fibromyalgia, along with many other conditions that affect our community. For information on how you can participate in these trials, call Ocala 352-629-5800 and ask them. This FDA regulates these studies, and the safety is closely guarded and monitored by independent review boards. So, again, go to Renstar Medical Research. Go to Renstar. Actually, go to www.renstar.net and find out why they say Renstar Medical Research seeking tomorrow's answers
for today.
For the health questions of today.
Sorry, screwed the read up there. Hey, can we dilly now or not? Because I'm going to call Graham in a second.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to leave because you're being really salty right now.
It's called business.
It's not business. This is called, hey, I just want to say one thing. You know what? It's football. It's fun. I know everyone's really stressed out right now, including this guy, but, I like to have a good time a little bit, and we did win a football game. And I know we want to talk about quarterbacks and everything else, and we want to grind on it all to the nth degree, and I get that. But I'm here today to talk about defense. I'm here today to talk about a Gator win and a good team win. I'm here today to say Dilly Dilly, and now I'll call Graham because everyone is just so tense lately.
You can interview him.
We don't interview Graham. He really talks to us. Graham, have you been following this mess?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Have you been following what's going on here?
I've been following the mess you're creating for both.
Are you?
He seems to be
You showed up with a smile, which is what I like.
Mercy of your box wine, man.
I might get some box wine.
I have not cracked a beer for myself, but I'm wearing the Swamp Head T-shirt tonight.
Nice. Is that your preferred? Is your preferred drink there, buddy?
I do. I live right behind First Magnitude Brewing, actually, but I prefer to make the 5-minute farther drive to Swamp Head. I'm a big Swamp Head fan.
I am a big Swamp Head. What flavor do you like?
Saturday afternoon, so before the game. So, how are you guys doing?
What flavor do you like, Graham?
I'm a big IPA Big Nose fan. So,
I like the Big Nose,
but I like trying whatever else they have. I mean, Stump Knocker, you can never go wrong with that. But I don't really like stouts or too much like that. So I like Big Nose and Stump Knocker, and that's about it for me. I don't get too wild.
I think you get wild, and I think you're smart enough to say you get too wild, because producers like me, we don't have to worry about being on the air, so it's okay. We can totally just lay it all out there for you. Hey, buddy.
Commandeered tonight, I see.
Yes, I did. I've been out of town.
I saw someone say you still, which is fair.
It's fair. Did you go to the game on Saturday, Graham?
Of course. Yeah. And tale of two halves, I guess.
Well,
the first quarter and the next 3 quarters when it comes to Felipe Franks, especially.
I want to talk about that. I know everybody on the planet Earth wants to talk about Trask and Franks and the potential red shirt of Emory Jones. I mean, everyone wants to talk about all that stuff. I get it. But I'm curious as to know, as a person that covers the beat and someone who's on the goes to most every practice and games, all that kind of stuff. I want to know what your takeaways were from the game. I'm asking you to grade everybody, but I'm curious as to. I know I posted that earlier, by the way. Malik Davis has a broken foot. I'm just curious as to your takeaway. I know it was a tale of two halves offensively. I watched the game again today. I was excited about the linebacking core, excited about the defense. A little bit. I'm obviously excited about special teams a little bit. But I'm curious to know what your takeaway from Saturday was, as a recap.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that definitely everyone, speaking about special teams for the last 7, 8 years had a point, because you look that special teams really gave Florida 17 points, more than Colorado State's offense on the entire night. So, if Florida is going to find ways to keep the crowd, have to put up 48 on some of these cupcakes, it seems that, if their special team is going to have to contribute at least the defense as well. So that aspect is very important. A lot of people called for Jawan Snyder to remain on staff, but when you look at what benefit Greg Knox brings from a special teams perspective, I think that it kind of makes up for any lacking on the recruiting, especially if they do land guys like Naquan Wright and Trey Sanders. Obviously, the defensive line, that's probably a negative for me. I thought that they would be able to get a little more push, although, I think the ends definitely benefited from C.C. Jefferson coming back. He made a direct contribution, but I think we're finding out that, in the defense, we don't really have this season. Obviously, Tom and Slayton are playing their first games of the series, and they're going to need some time, but they even had to put Kerry Clark in there, Schuler. That's going to be something that they're going to need to figure out, because stopping the run, David Reese is going to be a big part of that. If Colorado State's running on them, they're going to get chewed up against, even Vanderbilt and stuff. So I think that's a big thing for Florida moving forward, is to develop their defensive tackles. And then obviously the running back scenario, we talked often about Florida having 6 running backs, and then you get factoring guys like Kadarius Toney. What are they going to do with all these guys. Well, we're kind of they're going to, it's kind of like Survivor. They're going to knock themselves off on their own. Florida just really has 3 running backs that they can use for the rest of the season. Michael Pirine, I think, has cemented himself as the best one so far, and then Dameon Pierce is a close second. And then you obviously have to factor in the senior Jordan Scarlett for long-term benefits. Oh, that's certainly an interesting thing to watch. But I think this is the trio that Florida is going to use most for the rest of the season. And I think Iverson Clement's going to get some mix. So I think that Florida needs to keep improving their offensive team, top to bottom, than Florida is. Jeremy Pruitt does not have a good defense. Felipe Franks probably only to throw a touchdown to beat the Tennessee team theoretically on Saturday. But, it is an away game in Tennessee. Anything could really happen. But I think I'm a little more confident after Saturday. That's the big takeaway. I think a lot more people should be more confident for some of these games like Tennessee and Vanderbilt than they should have been coming off of Kentucky, for sure.
How good is CSU's offense? I know they throw the ball like a bajillion times. But what was your take on as far as CSU's offense? Now, I covered that team for a gajillion years living in Colorado.
Game well at halftime.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah. It was weird to see that team come in and compete because I did many games up in Fort Collins and the Rams clearly have a program that's sort of emerging a little bit since Sonny Lubick left years ago, obviously with the shark fishermen going too. But I just was curious as to think, did you think that their offense was that good, or were our defense just has that many holes, or what your take on that was?
Oh, well, I do think Florida's defense played a lot better, especially when it comes to, how they set the edge. Especially that's the biggest thing. There were a lot more solo tackles, a lot less missed tackles. Again, the caveat is that it is Colorado
less
State.
arm tackles, right? Yeah. I mean, it seems like more fundamentals.
That's the big thing is that guys. The key word used in the negative for the last week was freelancing. Guys, going outside their assignments, not trusting the game plan, and that's very disconcerting when you're, a guy like Todd Grantham, who is getting ridiculed for his third down, play calling for sure. But at the same time, how much of it is his play calling, and how much of it is guys like Boshan Joseph totally, misreading the play and leaving the entire middle of the field open, and having a guy like Colorado State, hit you for a 25-yard pass, which happened a few times against Florida, even against Colorado State. So there's certain limitations we're finding out about the team as well. But I did think that Colorado State's offense is better than anyone thinks. They have that really good his last name escapes me, Devontae something. That wide receiver is really good. He's legitimate. He is on some draft boards, even for a third, fourth rounder already out of Colorado State. And then you look at how they game plan after halftime. Look at their first 2 games. Yeah, their opponents, Hawaii and Arkansas, East Carolina, aren't the best opponents out there. But Colorado State was down by 21 points at all those games and managed to cut the deficit to 10, 11, and then beat Arkansas. So certainly, how Florida responded in the second half. You look back to that Kentucky game, that is a perfectly winnable game for Florida against Kentucky. They're leading 10-7. Then Kentucky comes out, puts up 14 points right away. Next thing you know, it's an 11-point deficit for Florida. I was very interested to see how Florida would respond against Colorado State when, they have already made a recent history of beating teams in the second half. And I was very impressed to see that Florida and Felipe Franks played better in the second half than they did in the first half. I think that's a big takeaway that's kind of going under the radar, so to speak.
Graham, I don't know if you were at the press conference. I assume you were today. And I thought Mullen was really eloquent on what he expected out of his quarterbacks.
I agree with that.
And he when he discussed the development of young quarterbacks, decision making, and how fast you have to process it. He even wrote down he has 10 seconds to do all these things. Then he's got 2.5 seconds to do this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I got a better sense of how he coaches quarterbacks by listening to that. I thought it was very good. I also think, one more, and I'll get you to comment on this too. We're having you're breaking up a little bit on your Wi-Fi there for some reason. But just answer these questions and we'll let you go and go on. Maybe we can catch up to you later in the week when the Wi-Fi is working better. But I think there's opportunity here now with Malik Davis out with a broken foot. Dameon Pierce, I know it was hot. It was the hottest day in the history of the Swamp, and I know that the defense of Colorado State was worn out. I know it, but Dameon Pierce just looked like he looked so great with the effort, the way he ran. he ran with such relentlessness, and quick hit the hole. And this kid's got to get the ball some, Graham, doesn't he? I think we lost him.
Oh, that's not going to help.
Yeah, the best thing about him is legs that he can't teach. I mean, his natural running, the ability that even when he gets hit, his legs don't stop moving. It's separate parts. It's high, he's still going to use his feet to create some torque and to try and get through that tackle. That's not something that you can really teach, especially something that you expect an 18-year-old freshman to come in. But we've said this before. There's a reason he set those records in Bainbridge, Georgia. There's a reason, he comes in with all the clout and the high praise that he is. Dan Mullen's in a very tough situation. Dameon Pierce is one of his guys. He's one of the guys who doesn't have any bad habits that he needs to break or anything. But he also has a senior like Jordan Scarlett that you want to also give a chance to because it reflects well on your program and your recruits. But Dameon Pierce is making it clear day by day that the amount of effort that he gives every time he hits the field, whether it's on special teams or even if he's blocking as a running back, that he's going to give you, like Dan Mullen loves to say, relentless effort. And that's what's getting him on the field. And I think that he is going to eventually be one of those guys who's getting 12, 14 carries a game.
Before you go, because your audio is good and I can hear you well now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The video's crap. I'm sorry, guys.
Is this apartment Wi-Fi? What's going on, Graham? I mean, do we need to send up Chad up there to fix your Wi-Fi? Because, he is the administrator of
the czar
of the internet. He'll come and fix that stuff for you, yo.
We're watching TV through the internet on the other room. Right?
You gotta tell. You have roommates. You gotta be like, yo, get off the internet.
Get that fixed. That's on me. I'll get that fixed next time.
Before you go, I want to ask you about the quarterback situation. I know it was a tale of two halves. I'm not going to give my opinion because I've given it 1,000 times, and my opinion doesn't really matter. But someone like you, who's there every day and covers it, who's heard Mullen time in and time out, what's your take on this quarterback situation? I've heard everything from Emory Jones is going to redshirt this year to he should be starting next game to Trask is. I have actually read a in-depth conspiracy theory about Trask. So I have heard it all about the quarterback situation. So I'm just curious as to what your takeaway on it is.
Well, I think that Felipe Franks is clearly the answer for the rest of the season. There will always be those questions about Kyle Trask until the big one is answered. When are we going to see Kyle Trask with the first string offense against someone else's first string defense? And I don't know if we're going to see that. And like you said, there will always be this subsect of people that believe, Kyle Trask isn't given a fair shot and needs to be better. That it needs to be given a better shot. I don't know if we'll see that this season. It's very clear that when you watch what, Dan Mullen has done, there was a graphic that came out in the last game about Nick Fitzgerald, Dak Prescott, and Tim Tebow being the only quarterbacks in the last 15 years who had 35-plus passing and rushing touchdowns in their career. And that's absolutely a testament to Dan Mullen and what he wants to do. And I don't think he has a quarterback on the roster able to do that right now. To answer your question, I do think Emory Jones redshirts because you look at what, the big question coming into the season was if he was going to be used, it was going to be certain packages in
Agreed.
The wild. Okay. And those packages, they're using Kadarius Toney in them because he has much smarter pocket presence and athleticism right now for where he's at. So that's the big. I think Emory Jones does redshirt. Even if you do see him in 3 more games, he can play in 3 more games and still get that redshirt. I also think Malik Davis gets the medical redshirt now because he didn't use it last season because that injury was so late to the end of the year. You got to use that. Broken foot's going to keep him out 2 months. He comes back maybe by Florida State or Idaho. Not worth it. I think that, him and Emory Jones redshirt and a few of these other guys in here, Iverson Clement, I think a few of those guys are going to use their redshirt because those are Dan Mullen's guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we are talking about, we talk often about ADs wanting their own, head coach and vice versa. That trickles down to the locker rooms. Dan Mullen wants his own guys in there, and he's kind of biding his time until a lot of those guys are gone. And Dameon Pierce is one of them. Iverson Clement is one of them. Why not give them as much eligibility at Florida as possible so that they have as much depth? Look at FSU. They got, 2 healthy quarterbacks. If you can redshirt Emory Jones and have him and Jalen Jones and Anthony Richardson in 2 years, absolutely you got to do it.
Good stuff, Graham. Appreciate it. Minister of Information. Appreciate it very much.
If you want.
Talk again later in the week.
Hold on. What'd you say, Graham?
Sorry about the Wi-Fi. We'll catch up Wednesday.
Whatever, dude. That's on you. And by the way, have Amazon do an FSU turnover backpack because I know you really want one.
Right. They're expensive.
They're like $150, yo.
Hey, man, I don't know where you're rolling.
You would look tight in that backpack.
Yeah. See ya. Thanks, buddy. Brendan, always a pleasure, guys.
Later, Graham.
See ya.
Graham loves me.
Yeah, well, we got a little show to run here, too. Other people standing by, so we'll do that.
Go ahead. Do your research. You'll find positive feedback about Daniel L. Hightower, Ocala's experienced car crash and work accident lawyer. Dan's excellent track record will put you at ease immediately, because you deserve to be treated like a person, not just a case. To have all your questions answered promptly and thoroughly. To feel confident that you made the right decision. And best of all, to know that he'll fight to get you just results. Call Daniel L. Hightower today, 352-629-7777.
Hello.
Franz Beard. Hello, Franz Beard. How are you, sir?
Hi, Francis. Total chaos tonight, Francis.
France, he's so pissed off at me tonight. He's really mad.
I've lost control.
Yeah, he's lost
control.
control.
I apologize for being so late, but someone took my commuter over.
No. It's all my fault, Franz.
It is.
It's totally my fault. Sorry.
Don't worry, buddy.
Are you drinking vodka on the rocks, Franz?
No, just some water.
Just some water. Did you work out tonight?
Already did one, and I'm going to get late night. I'm going to get to the treadmill for about 3 miles.
3 miles? Are you going to now? Do you sleep well after that?
Yes, I sleep extraordinarily
because
well.
If I work out too late, I can't sleep. So I just was wondering if
I sleep extraordinarily well because I'm tired after this late, after all day, and after this late, I'm tired, and so I sleep like a kitten.
Friends,
like a parrot.
I know you watched this today. I don't want to dwell on it, but I do want to get a comment from you on it. I think we owe that. And I know some people, most people do not care or don't agree with me. I have a little different perspective, and you do too. It was hard for me to watch Urban Meyer today because he looked like a man who was really had just great pain. I mean, he looked like somebody had a dagger in his chest. And the more he talked, the more he seemed like it didn't help him. And I wish he hadn't talked so much. I know he was trying to explain, and I know that, but the more he talked, the more it seemed like it just made less sense. And he's an easy target. I feel for him. I know he made a mistake. He's paying for it. I don't know how much more he's going to have to pay, but it looked torturous to me. What did you think?
Oh, it did, but here's the thing. It's done with now. He's answered all the questions. He's been up there. He's been the target. Everybody's fired all their guns at once. And here's the thing. It's over with now. Now he's coaching football, and he can take on a little bit of a Nick Saban thing and just tell people, we're talking football. We're not talking anything else. And he'll get away with it. I think he did the right thing. As painful as it seemed, I think he did the right thing by getting out there and taking all the shots. And you know him as well as I do. He's a very prideful man. He made a mistake. He knows he made a mistake, and to have to stand up there and for the umpteenth time have to face all the crud he gets over it, it's not an easy thing. But now that he's done it, it's over, it's done with. And as I've said before, there was never, and I repeat, never a chance that he was going to be fired over this. There is a greater chance that we're going to be selected to be to coach, be the next head football coaches at Arkansas, the three of us, one of us the head coach and the other two coordinators, before, there would be a greater chance of that than Urban Meyer getting dismissed over there. There was no chance of that, none whatsoever. Ohio State looked at this about like you would think maybe a parking ticket or getting a coach getting a speeding ticket. And that's what they looked at it as. And now he's coaching, and he's going to continue coaching well into the future, and people just better get used to it. He's going to be there in Ohio State. From what I saw Saturday night, they're probably the only team out there that really has a chance to go toe-to-toe with Alabama and beat them.
Franz, I have a couple comments in the chat room here. One from a gentleman named Justin Winkelspecht. I think they got that right. He won't be at Ohio State next year, Franz? I'm thinking
yes,
he will be at Ohio State for a very long time.
But he'll be there as long as he wants to coach football. And as Buddy can tell you, Urban without football is like taking a fish out of the water. He's going to be there as long as he wishes to coach, and he's in his early 50s. That's going to be a long time. He's won 171 ball games and lost 33 in his coaching career. He's got a chance before he turns 65 to have a record that nobody's going to be able to touch. I mean, for as great as Nick Saban is with all the national championships, Saban's lost a heck of a lot of ball games or twice as many ball games compared to Urban.
Franz, and can we shift gears now to talk about the game on Saturday?
Well, we can talk about the game Saturday, and we can also talk about the fact that the contract details have been released for Dan Mullen. $6,103,000 a year is what he's being paid, and I believe he will prove to be worth every dime of it.
I agree. So talk to me, Franz. Where are you on the quarterback situation?
Well, it's like this. I would like to see Trask, and I would like to see Emory Jones get their shots. But here's the thing I take away from it. First and foremost, Mullen thinks this is the best shot for the Gators to win. And given Mullen's track record, hey, you kind of have to go with it. I mean, Dan Mullen will forget more in the next minute than I will know in my lifetime about playing quarterback in Division I football. Dan's a quarterback guru. He knows what he's doing. He obviously knows that Trask and Jones aren't ready for prime time yet, or else they would have been in there with snaps in situations earlier than, Jones didn't even see the field Saturday, and Trask got in there long enough to hand off a few times. The other thing is this. He is sending a message not only to Felipe Franks, but he's sending a message to the Jones boys, who are the future. Emory in this year and in the future, and Jalen Jones, who Florida has a commitment from. He's sending a message to those guys that I will stick with you. If you're on that field, I won't have a quick hook. You're the quarterback. If I put you out there, you're expected to do the job, and you've got my confidence. And I think that probably is as important as anything we've heard or seen out there is if you got a quarterback that has shown shaky confidence in the past, which certainly we've seen enough of Felipe to know that his confidence kind of ebbs and flows. If you're that guy and you look to the sideline and your coach is encouraging you and he's coaching you up constantly, that should start bringing out the best in you. And if and when there's a change to be made, Dan Mullen will make it, but he's obviously not ready to make it now. So as much as I would like to see Trask get his shot, because Trask is a great story, a kid that didn't get to start for his last 2 years of high school football because there was a guy named De'Eric King who was in front of him. But Trask is a great story. Emory Jones is a kid that was committed to Ohio State, and he's a Gator instead. Obviously, you want to see those guys. But I also want to see the Gators win. And what's that old saying? Trust the process. Time to trust the process. And Dan Mullen's got a process going.
Getting some players back this week. I've not seen play, but I hear Sean Davis is a real hitter at the safety position. I can use him. David Reese being back is big. He's their leader. Obviously, CC was back last week, but he didn't have a big impact on the game. But those players on defense, when you lose Marco Wilson, you really need your leaders on defense. I think David Reese, if he's 100%, will have a pretty good impact on this team. I think he's worth a touchdown, maybe by just being on that defense, in my opinion.
Well, not only him, but C.J. McWilliams is back.
Right.
He is a nickel, and what he does is he gives them some flexibility of what to do with at other positions as well. I mean, goodness, any way you look at it, this is a big deal. The way they're going about it, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I'll give you an example. He's been playing what they call the star position there, which is sort of a hybrid linebacker, safety, nickel type guy. They can move him back, for example, to safety and move CJ in at nickel because CJ is a great cover guy. Chauncey is the kind of guy that you want back there, kind of that Reggie Nelson type of guy that can be an eraser back there at safety. So you end up with a situation getting these guys back that you wind up with a whole lot more flexibility they did not have, for example, in that game against Kentucky. And they didn't have a lot against Colorado State. So these guys kind of got hung out to dry, and I thought they acquitted themselves pretty well because Colorado State only averaged like 5.9 yards per pass attempt. That's anytime you hold people under 6 yards of pass attempt, you're doing very, very well in the secondary.
Yeah. Well, like Mullen said today, everything is the old phrase, baby steps. Now the first road game, SEC game on the road, got a win under the belts. Learned a few things last week. This Tennessee team looks like it obviously Vegas agrees they're very beatable at a 6-point underdog at home. And I think about that game last week, and I think I don't want to be guilty of what I did at Charleston Southern because a little bit of fool's goal in that win over Colorado State. When you think about the weather and the heat and what happened in the fourth quarter, the hottest game in the history of the Swamp. You saw how Damian Pierce broke through there and just went to the goal line. Terrific looking run and terrific kid. But I do think we have to realize that they were overmatched and undermanned. And in the end, I'm not putting that much stake because take out the special teams and the turnovers, and the offense was pretty average.
Well, I think the offense played a lot better in the second half when he finally pulled Freddie Johnson out at right guard, and he put in Brett Heggie. And in the second half, the offense was far more efficient with Heggie in there. We'd all love to see Heggie move to center, but, if Heggie plays center, you're going to have Fred Johnson at right guard, and that doesn't work, as we know. So Nick Buchanan's going to be the center for a while. Brett Heggie is going to be at right guard, and the offensive line is better that way. The only thing that could change would be if you move Tyler Jordan, for example, to right guard, and you move Heggie to center, and you move Martez Ivey inside to left guard and play Stone Forsythe there at left tackle. That's something I look forward to because I think Martez Ivey, the sooner Martez Ivey starts playing guard, the better off it's going to be for his NFL chances because he's never going to play on the outside in the NFL. But
you wrote about in your column, Franz, about the offensive line whenever Johnson was out of there. And
making the same mistakes he's made since he was a freshman, and
right, second the same mistakes.
At some point in time, you got to change that. Here's the thing to really look into. Tennessee beat UTEP, let me put it this way. Arkansas could kill UTEP, and Arkansas is probably one of the 10 worst teams in Division I, and they would kill UTEP. Tennessee beat UTEP 24-0. The defense played fairly well, that's for sure. And anytime you get a shutout against anybody, it's a big deal. But the Tennessee offense still hasn't clicked. What Tennessee, I would almost bet the ranch on, is Tennessee is going to try to run the football against Florida. They're going to throw it. They're going to see if they can draw them in and then throw it over the top when they get chances. But the idea is going to be to move the chains, grind it out, shorten the game, keep their defense off the field against Florida. And I think that, and in doing so, keep the Florida offense off the field, because I think Florida's offense, I get the feeling that at some point in time, Dan Mullen is going to really cut loose with Van Jefferson and Trevon Grimes and get them fully acclimated into the passing game. I also got to think this. Dameon Pierce's time is coming. He is going to be the bell cow in the backfield before this season is through, and it may be before the next game is through. He's just. I realize it was late in the game when it was hot and everything like that. But did you see the burst of speed he got when he got to the second level Saturday? Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a real burst of speed. That's breakaway speed that he showed. And getting through the line of scrimmage, once he got through that line of scrimmage, he just accelerated and he had the gear. So I think Florida's going to have to try to, Jeremy Pruitt is a Nick Saban guy, which means he's going to do his best to make it difficult for Felipe Franks to recognize what they're doing. Yep. And I think Florida, as a result, is going to run the ball a lot. But I still look for Mullen to try to take his shots to get Van Jefferson and Trevon Grimes into the game.
Yep.
Those two guys are studs, and they got to get the ball more.
Yeah, here we're going to wrap it up with this. Brendan knows a little of this history because he experienced part of it. I was talking to Steve Spurrier today about it, and John Adams earlier, the history of this game. You have to go back in time to understand what a huge game this was. The third game of the year, it was always going to decide who wins the East and who goes to Atlanta. And for so many years, Spurrier won 8 out of 12 and had 5 years in a row where he won games. And, of course, I talked to him today, and that interview will air later, that painful 2001 game where he had that game won and had a national championship team cooking, only lost to Auburn and was ranked high. And Tennessee comes in because the game had been postponed. It was supposed to be played 9-11, and it wasn't the week after. And Tennessee has a comeback and wins it 34-32. And I think didn't Rex Grossman have an incomplete pass or something at the end?
Yeah, he had a chance to tie it up with a 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion, yeah.
I'll tell you something's interesting on this, buddy. During the Spurrier years, from 1990 to 2001, Florida had the third best winning total in all of college football, 122 wins. Tennessee was number 4 with 118. Florida won 8 out of 12 games. So the difference between Tennessee and Florida overall are those 4 extra wins that Spurrier got over Philip Fulmer and Johnny Majors.
Yep.
Since then, and this tells you how far both programs have slipped. Since Spurrier left UF, the Gators are 142-67, and that includes 65 and 10 during Urban's time there. Tennessee, on the other hand, is 116-89. Wow.
Yeah. Well, the 98 team that won a national championship beat Florida in overtime 2017. They're having this weekend in Knoxville. Philip Fulmer is having a reunion to celebrate, what is that, 30 years, whatever that is,
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
So that was the one time that the Vols won the game. All right, Francis.
They need to put a statue of Al Wilson out in front of their stadium because Al Wilson was the heart and soul of that national championship.
Terrific defense and played by the pros well too.
Friends, all these, we talk about the history today, we talk about, I know we got to go, but we talk about the history, talk about these games, talk about all this stuff. I get it. I get where the nostalgia comes from. I get the importance of all these games, but we're in what I have been referring to, I think, all day as a transition year. Reality kind of sets in after Kentucky takes us to the woodshed. All those kinds of things. These games are important. It's good to go on the road. But, in a transition year, Franz, what are you looking to see? What are the things that you kind of key on? I think if you're a fan or an analyst or just a producer like myself or whatever, what are the things you tend to look at a little bit more? Do you look at these games differently than you do, say, next year?
Are you getting better every week? That's the key.
Well, I don't.
Are you getting better every week?
Right. Right, I agree.
And are you giving, a lot of coaches make the mistake. They look at a season like this and they put all their eggs in their senior basket, and they try to go with the seniors and say, we got to win now at all costs, and they play all their seniors at the expense of these young guys. And by not playing the young guys, you sometimes set the program back an extra year in doing so. Coach has got to play his seniors, but he's also got to mix in his young guys because, what's that old saying? The future is now. Well, yeah, it is to an extent, but the future is also the future, and you've got to prepare for the future. And by the way, if we're looking back Florida, Tennessee, and let's look at what's really important. What's really important is that 2008. Or was it? The
Is that when we went? Is that when we went to Knoxville, France? Is that when me and Buddy went?
The 2008 road trip.
Oh, good Lord!
In which this is how we roll.
This is how we roll. That's what I gotta find that video.
And for folks who have never seen the video, we got off. We went the wrong for some reason. We wound up where they filmed the movie Deliverance.
Oh, yeah. With a flat tire.
Right on the banks of the
Right outside Cleveland, Tennessee.
And right on the banks of that's where we got the tire changed.
Yeah.
But we were right out on the banks of the Ocoee River when an attempted U-turn turned into a flat tire.
Recalculating.
And
Wade Boggs.
We thought we were going to get the tire changed right there in that town until we pulled into the only place that sold tires in that town. And I swear, 3 of the extras from the movie Deliverance were there ready to change the tires. And Brendan looked at us and said, we, under no circumstances, are getting this tire changed here. So we drove on a temporary tire.
Yes, we
30
did.
miles winding around the Ocoee River in the mountains.
I wasn't trusting that tire to that dude with no teeth. He had no teeth. He literally had no front teeth.
That cigarette that he was smoking had an ash that was that long hanging.
Dude, he had a Pink Floyd going so bad, bro. It was like I literally tightened the lug nuts on the donut from that Toothless Wonder because I know he saw my Gator gear and he was not interested in us getting to that game.
Well, we drove then 30-something miles through the Tennessee backwoods along the Ocoee River to Cleveland, Tennessee, and we got to a Goodyear place, and we thought there at the Goodyear place that they're going to rip us off because here we are, Gators and everything like this. And lucky for us, the guy at the Goodyear place, one of them was a Clemson fan.
Yes.
And the other one, I think graduated from the 5th grade.
He didn't graduate. He dropped out.
And the Clemson fan said, "I'll get you guys to Knoxville on time." And despite all this fact, we got to Knoxville on time for the ball game, in time for the pregame meal. And after the ball game, as we're going back to the vehicle, how many times did we have Tennessee folks coming up to us and say, "Could you trade coaches with us? You can have our coach."
Hey, friends, I know we got to go. We're over time. But I wanted to talk about one thing about Urban Meyer. And I know you all knew this, and I brought it up earlier. I was talking to Justin Wells today, by the way. And I was talking about how Urban played Rocky Top in practice.
Yep.
Loud. Every single day. Loud. And that was the outdoor facility, so we could hear it from the outside of the front gate. Do you think that's going to go on with Mullen this week?
He said today it did.
Oh, it did. I didn't hear that.
The press conference said, "Well, big."
Not only that, there was a big UT thing in all the urinals.
All the urinals, the UT cakes.
Yeah, they had UT there in all of the urinals, and they had specially designed UT toilet paper.
They played it loud too. We could hear that Rocky Top from the parking lot.
I'm writing about that in my thoughts of the day for tomorrow. And to Urban's credit, Urban named 3 rivalry games. He said Florida, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, and Florida State.
And beat them all the time.
All of them.
And in those 3, he was 16-2.
Whew.
Against those 3,
Pretty good.
Which is better than any Florida coach, I think, during for that stretch, a 6-year stretch, and I think Urban Meyer probably did more to bring about the demise of Phil Fulmer because when Spurrier quit, everybody thought that Phil Fulmer was literally going to take over the SEC East. And when Spurrier left and Florida brought in Ron Zook, and I think Phil Fulmer got a little bit off, let the hype and everything like that get a little bit to him. And I think he let the program slip. And when he let the program slip and Urban Meyer came in, it was all over because all of a sudden now he's scrambling to get it back and he never could get it back. Florida, he had never. Spurrier was a fabulous coach. I mean, there's no question about it. When it comes to on the field coaching, probably as good as there's ever been in the game. But when it came to recruiting, holy cow! No, Urban Meyer took it to a whole different level, and Urban just totally out-recruited. Urban totally
details.
He totally out-recruited Phil, and Phil had let the program slip, and now all of a sudden Florida comes in there, and Florida just absolutely blew them away.
All right, Francis, we got to go night. Appreciate it, buddy. Good job. Sorry we're late getting to you.
Night, Franz.
Have a good
go
one,
work
Francis.
out, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
Big dilly.
Talk to you tomorrow. Look forward to your column tomorrow in Gator Nation Kingdom.
All right.
Let's do this. We got to do a little
to the
commercial.
boys down in Ocala.
Thanks, Franz. Talk to you soon, brother. Thank you for coming on.
I want to get to a couple of points that you want to talk about regarding comments on the forums, and I want to say something about I need a loan.
You're 4K shy.
4,000. So maybe somebody can tell me about that. But let's do a couple of quick commercials.
Chris could probably do that.
Think so? Well, JT Kerr is a banker. He ought to help me out a little bit.
JT Kerr is a loan officer, banker guy, and you are a bad loan.
I'm not a bad loan.
Oh, you just lost $4,000.
Well, so what? That's what you do. You take chances in life. All right, let's talk. Go to Center State up there and hit that. Click up on the Center
You
State.
say that like it's so easy. But, where you got the things, put up there, it's just tough to deal with. Well, that's all that for that.
Yeah, just leave it right there if you don't mind. Never mind the commentary, okay? I want to tell you about our friends over at Center State Bank, who are big in the community. They have a slogan that says centered on community and customer service. We love doing our preseason, our membership drive, Ocala Quarterback Club meeting there with Megan Mullen, and we hope to continue our relationship there. Center State Bank, of course, known for their locally market-driven concepts. They have a long-term horizon in terms of the financial deals they make, and they have world-class service, which they pride themselves in. They believe in faith and family, and they have also believe in faith in relationship banking. So check them out. If you don't know about one near you, they're all over. I saw a new one the other day I didn't know was there. They have 82 or 3, maybe they got more by now, locations in 30 Florida counties, numerous in north central Florida. And if you want to know more about it, go to centerstatebank.com. My bank I use is right there in that beautiful picture. Looks like something from Gone with the Wind. That's on Silver Springs Boulevard. You can call them at 352-368-6800. Center State Bank, centered on community and customer service. And now, if we can get our friend Jen on here and talk about her Tupperware. Well, you don't have a other one. You got to go to the next one.
You have 3 things named Tupperware.
You know what? That's okay. You can do the.
Where's
that's
the other
why
one?
I have to run it. Well, I have to run it.
You have to run it.
It's just the sign, the pink sign Tupperware.
Right.
Would take too long for you to find.
Right. Which is too far from me.
I'll just check. Well, you want to do the commercial? Go ahead.
No, I don't. At all.
That's why some things I have to run, because I know where things are.
I can read this
and
part.
You don't. Well,
for my
that's just one particular item that she has. She has many other items, and she has all kinds of stuff for. There's her. See, the other one's there's her. You're messing up her address up here. So
no,
you
that dress was covered, actually.
No, it's not.
It was covered. Yeah. I just uncovered it like a secret.
Okay, well, aren't you a hero? Okay, so
I am a damn hero. You're a salty SOB tonight.
Tell you about Tupperware, despite the noise. It's terrific for tailgating for obvious reasons. If you have any plans to tailgate, check it out today. You go right here to this address, Jen Lay, the Tupperware lady, and check out. So I bought 2 things from her. This is not one of them. I wish I had them. Maybe next summer I will. You can get all kinds of containers and what have you, dishes, things you can store your stuff in the fridge. Check it out today. Contact Tupperware Jen today. She'll host a party and help you earn free hostess gifts. And if you're an organization, you'd like to do some fundraising, Tupperware gives 40% of all sale proceeds back to the organization. And so if you want to shop, that's fine too. So go to jenlay.my.tupperware.com to purchase your product today, or search Tupperware Jen Tupperware Jen on Facebook, and it's a perfect way to serve that G&K tailgater spread. Tupperware Jen Lay. All right.
Jen Lay's got good stuff, by the way.
Because I bought some.
By the way, Jen Lay is like a sister to me.
Really? Rebecca, Laurie, and Jen?
Well, no. Jen Lay is my Gator sister. You know how some people have like work wives?
Yeah.
Jen Lay is my Gator sister.
Well, there you go.
Forever. And all of her, and there you go. There's Jen's deal.
You only said that because
I don't lie. I'm not into the lying thing. All right. I know that you all try to smooth it all over here on the Buddy Martin show.
You're trying to make me a liar now, is that what you're saying?
I don't know what you guys do here. I haven't been here for a couple of weeks. Well, I'm not sure what happens on the show anymore. Clearly, it's seriously stuffy of what's going on around here. Jennifer Lay, check her out. She's legit. She's got the best stuff in town, and I love her. She is a huge supporter of the G&K, and this business is a huge supporter of what we do here on the Buddy Martin Show and the Gator Nation Kingdom. Thank you, Jennifer Lay. Check out her stuff. She's the bomb.
All right, now, why don't we talk about...
God, I'm like a walking
Why don't we talk
commercial.
about... You've been bitching at me all weekend, so tell me about what you've done to the forums and all that stuff, and what's the tone. We have some new thoughts about some things we're posting. I want to reinforce what we are, who we are. It's not my place to do more than just say something about I want this G&K site and this show to remain what it has been for the last 10 months. And that is a place where you can go and feel safe to have your opinions. We welcome your comments and your criticisms. We do not welcome your trash and your profanity, and we do not welcome you
some profanity,
trashing.
Because I cuss.
Well, we'll ban you too, by the way.
You can't because I created the page. No, you cannot.
Yeah,
I would like to see you try.
Yeah.
I have all power.
See, this is
G&K.
the problem we have now.
I have all the power.
This rebellion and insurrection is the problem.
Don't be fooled by this thing.
You wonder why
Don't be fooled by the microphone and the camera.
Don't want to obey you because you show no respect for authority.
No, this is the old school mentality. I don't want anyone to obey anybody. That's not how I roll. I'm not into the obeying of all that kind of stuff. Whatever. All I'm trying to say, and what I've been trying to say along the way, is that I want G&K, the Gator Nation Kingdom, to be a safe place for Gators to come to and to talk like adults. Now, if you have children around you, earmuffs, because I'm about to say something that might upset you. If you can't not be an asshole on the playground, then you probably shouldn't be in the G&K. Okay? All I'm saying all I'm saying to you is that if you don't know how to have a conversation like an adult without being an asshole, then you then you probably shouldn't be in the Gator Nation Kingdom. When we built the Buddy Martin show, we talked about who? Chip Kelly, right? And we talked about the potential of him coming to be a coach here, did we not? Trying to find truth. That has not changed. We're always trying to find truth. I'm not out there to say if you say I like Kyle Trask and I want him to start, I don't want to ban you for that. It's the third comment that gets everyone in trouble. I like Kyle Trask. You like Kyle Trask? You're an idiot. That's always where it goes wrong, right? So all I'm asking and all I'm saying is that in the past, and I've had this discussion today several times, in the past we've had SEC country, all these different Gator country, all these different websites to post our threads in and to have these conversations. These threads have generally been protected by paywalls, generally been protected by the fact that you pay your annually or your monthly fee to be in this group or in this website. We're in a new day now. Recruits, parents, all these people read every post that we put out there and that we're a part of. Anytime that you say X, Y, and Z, all that kind of stuff, it gets out there, especially in the Gator Nation Kingdom as we grow. So all I'm saying is that if you have an opinion, kind of like how Jim Rome used to say, if you have a take, don't suck. Come at it, come correct, bring some information, talk about why you feel the way you want to feel. But don't offend the other person and don't say you're an idiot because you have no better comeback to say whatever. Look, we have a quarterback controversy, okay? This just in. It's not a unusual thing in a new program and in football at every level. So let's just play nice. Let's grow the kingdom. Let's have genuine conversation. And if you can't play nice, I am forced, as the enforcer, I prefer the Equalizer because I like the old Equalizer, not the one Equalizer the movie, but the Equalizer the series from the 80s. Sorry. I would like to be more of that Equalizer and say to you, I'm sorry, but you're kicked out. You can't come and play nice and play with us. You can't have a conversation and be an adult. You can't not be an asshole and play in the playground. Then, and you like to stir the drink too much just to upset other Gators, then you're probably not going to be there. But if you genuinely feel the way you feel, then the Gator Nation Kingdom is a safe place to be to air that dialogue and to air your opinion. And I'm okay with that. Buddy's okay with that. And we are into healthy conversation. Would you agree or would you not agree?
Can you call anybody an idiot?
Huh?
Can you call someone an idiot?
No, you cannot call anybody an idiot.
I'm going to do it, though.
Who? Me?
I'm going to call somebody an idiot.
Who?
Me.
Why?
For betting $4,000.
God, you're such an idiot for
that.
Terrible idiot.
John T. Kerr said I was a bad bone.
Huh?
I said, if those who don't talk about it, I stepped out and I, not believing the Gators could score that many points, thought maybe Colorado State would score 14. I took 22 points and took Colorado State 20.5 points. And you know what happened? And I have a mythical payroll of about $5,000, and I bet $4,000 on that game.
$1K.
What?
You have 1K left.
In that bank. The other bank I have more.
You always have all these banks.
Well, the other one, I'm ahead 5,000.
I appreciate that.
I was ahead 5,000. But this one, I'm down to 1K. But I think that John K. could loan me 4,000 mythical dollars.
If anyone doesn't know, John K.'s a baller.
But don't you think he could loan, instead of trashing me, say I'm a bad risk?
You're kind of a rough risk right now.
I mean, come on, John. Did I just do something nice for you, dude? You can't give me 4,000 just for a day or so, mythical dollars?
Oh, wow.
Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I was an idiot. So
wow, buddy, you took 22 points. Courtney, how do you say that last name? Fouché.
Courtney Fouché.
Is that Cajun?
Points.
Is that like a Cajun name?
I don't know.
I like that.
French.
That's like French Cajun,
probably
right?
French, yeah.
Courtland Fouché?
Yeah, I don't know. Cortland, probably.
That's like the coolest name I've ever seen.
Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. And by the way, quite a few people did, in fact, take Colorado State and 20 points, just so you know.
Hey, I told you that. I actually told you that. I was a good bet.
Take yourself too seriously. So that's why I don't bet. I don't bet
either.
And I've learned my lesson a long time ago.
You taught me that as a good father, not to gamble on sports. And I really never. And the gambling in general has not been my bag. So
reason being that I knew people who knew a lot of stuff who still couldn't win.
Right.
And they had knowledge that nobody could have. They still couldn't beat the system.
From all different sports, right?
3 times in my life I tried to gamble. Once I was successful at a Kentucky Derby because I won money in advance. The other 2 times I failed. But nothing I couldn't afford. I mean, I didn't. One of them was with Bradshaw on a golf bet, which he actually helped me get into. And I wound up losing $800. And then I didn't have the money to pay.
Did you have to come up with 8 bills?
I couldn't. I didn't have it.
So what did you do?
Bradshaw, I didn't pay it for me, and I borrowed it from him. But the bottom line is I said to him, that's okay. My son doesn't have to go to college.
I dropped out anyway. I dropped out like 3 colleges.
Anyway, it's stupid. I mean, it's just a game of chance. Now there's, the way we're doing it now is fun, mythical dollars, whatever. And I know that gambling's big now. A lot of you like to gamble. We do have these shows on Friday where Tom Schmidt and I, Joe Williams, Tom Schmidt and I, Joe Williams do this. And at the Quarterback Club, we also have 2-3 guys. Fred Land, Danny Winston right now is in Las Vegas as we speak.
He is?
Yeah, he's there. He'll be talking to us on Wednesday night.
50 on black. Roulette. 50 on black.
50
that's how I was winning. I walk into, when I go to Vegas, as I've been a few times. A lot of times. Yeah. And when I walk in, I go to the roulette table and I put $50 on black. That's my first thing I do. Before I even check in. That's how I roll.
Okay.
Anyway, all that being said and the gambling being said, listen, the Gator Nation Kingdom was built on the fact that we don't like people being...
Really like Albert Einstein. That's what some guys just said with my hair like this. Huh? So I look like Albert Einstein.
We almost look related.
I got to show a picture here. It's important because this is a key. This picture is very key while you're talking. Go ahead. Keep talking.
My take on the whole thing is this.
Go ahead.
Dan Mullen's getting $6 million a year and change.
Everybody gets that now.
Yeah, I'm going to trust that guy and his opinion because I like that guy. And I like what he brings to the table. So I will, and as I said many times in my posts, I will judge him at the end of the season. I'm going to pull for him now. I think he knows more than me because I don't know a whole lot. I think he knows a whole hell of a lot more than me. I know after watching all his pressers and watching all the comments of all the different groups and everything else, all I want is the Gator Nation Kingdom not to be a place of hate, not to be a place where you can't air your opinion in a very, thoughtful manner without being an asshole. Don't be an asshole.
Okay.
That's all I got.
I'll put this picture up there.
Oh! God, that guy's sexy.
That is the picture on the website, All Florida Sportswear. Tony put it up there.
That guy is sexy.
It's in the commercial. And so if you're going on All Florida Sportswear, because I couldn't find it, look under Florida Gators, look for the Crown Prince, and that's where you'll find all the new shirts, which, by the way, are very cool.
Crown Prince line.
Yeah, Crown Prince line, like right here. Those right there. Those bad boys, huh?
I mean, dude, I look ripped in these things. I work out a lot.
Which one are you going to get here? This is your line. I never had a line named after me, the Crown Prince line.
I like the blue ones.
Do you? I kind of like the orange.
It's not how I roll.
Look at that cool 15 on.
Did you see my blue eyes? Orange doesn't work for me.
Where'd you get those from?
Your father.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Your daughter's got them too. So those are cool. And you know how hard Tony's worked. He's getting that orange exactly right, etc. By the way, there's some of these shirts too are still around.
I'm wearing one of Tony's hats right now, aren't I?
You got an old school one.
Graham Hall is such a class act.
Yes, look at that.
Okay, thanks for having us on. Graham Hall.
You rock, buddy.
Dude, you're pretty good.
Should we put that up on the...
What, Graham Hall, you're pretty good?
No. Thank you, Greg.
I don't want to give him too much, because
he's breaking it up too much tonight. Wi-Fi.
Well, he's at apartment Wi-Fi, and probably somebody is playing Fortnite next to him.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
How come you know all these things?
Because I'm young at heart.
You're the Crown Prince. That's why.
The Crown Prince. That's why. Anyway, is there anyone even watching anymore?
No.
I stopped listening.
Oh, we had 40 people.
Why are they watching?
One time, I don't know. One time we would die for 40 people.
We would die for 40 people.
All right, Richie says the blue ones are cool.
Yep.
All right, Derek McKinney is new here. I can tell. You know why?
Why?
Check out this.
What do you say?
Check out this right here.
That's Nat Blaylock.
I know, but I'm looking for this.
I love Nat Blaylock. By the way, Nat Blaylock, dude,
you rock.
You're like the glue.
I want to say, Richie says blue ones are cool. Right here. Richie says this, and here, Derek McKinney's new. And look, here's why.
What do you say? How do you all feel about the current recruiting
Sorry,
class?
Derek, we just beat that dead. You know who can tell us? Don't worry, we're going to have him on a little later. If you missed him, he's our Jason Higdon.
Higdon.
The Mac Daddy of recruiting. We'll have him on again almost every week. So let's see. What else we got here?
All right, well, I'm not going to rip on Derek for asking a solid question.
All right, look here.
What?
You got to tell this story.
What?
Scene Peen.
I'm not telling it.
I'll tell it.
I'm not telling it. You're not telling it tonight.
Yes, I am.
We're already in overtime. We're not telling Scene Peen.
I'm telling this
story.
No,
you cannot tell this story because you're not going to tell it right.
I thought right.
You're not going to tell it right.
We're going to tell it.
And it's offensive and it's a little bit rough. Well, I think we should not tell that story.
Guy called you Scene Peen one night. That's all. That's all. Call you Scene Peen.
That's all we're going to... That's not really funny.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't let me tell the whole story.
Because it's a bit racist.
You look like Scene Peen.
It's funny because he was from another country and he didn't speak English.
I didn't
he was
say
wasted.
That. You said that, not me.
Right.
I played it straight. You're the one who said all that stuff.
Well, okay. Because I'm the producer, I want to get the story out. So,
Bubba thought it was funny. He's laughing.
Well, Bubba and I, by the way, Bubba and I have had several conversations today.
Yep.
On text and messages because Bubba is in the Trask, I think, camp,
right.
And I'm in the Franks camp.
It's okay.
And Bubba's got his opinion about it, and I have my opinion.
Here's a guy who's funny.
But I will tell you this: Bubba's my boy.
Yeah.
Period. And Lynn Tyndall's my boy. Bubba and Lynn. Bubba and I have been friends for almost a year. Yeah. All of it, three of us.
Toby says you're hammered, by the way.
Oh, whatever, Toby. Is this your first day? Okay, is this your first day in this whole deal? I'm not hammered. 2 glasses of wine. It's just me raw, baby. Okay?
Edgar,
you should come to a tailgate and see Daddy in action.
Robert Covell, your buddy, is back down in Florida.
Covell, this is yours, baby. It's all you, babe. Coming to you.
Edgar tomorrow night. No, Edgar, you know who is tomorrow night?
Covell, I got this coming to you.
How do you give my hats away?
Whatever, dude. Look, I haven't even, I just picked it up off the thing. Yeah, Buddy's got so much swag rolling.
These belong to Elite.
Covell, seriously, this is all you, baby.
Covell's got stuff. All right, here we go.
You know what? Welcome back to Florida, Robert Covell from Iowa.
Okay, here's the deal.
What's the deal?
We're going to wrap it up.
Why?
Because I said so. I'm the host of the show.
If we had more wine, we could go for another hour.
I'm sure people. Thank you for listening. Derek, by the way, we don't make fun of you. You come in and ask anything you want to here.
We do make fun of you.
And tomorrow night is James Bates. He's here.
He'd do the Kiki. I bet you Kiki would do that.
How about a dip? You want a dip?
A dip?
Luther?
A dab?
A dab, a dip. It's a dip.
It's not a dip.
So just dip.
And Kiki doesn't dab.
No, I'm talking about James Bates' Luther skit.
Oh, that is
funny. That's
That is funny.
Kevin, you're right, buddy. You're right. I like that. We are family. We are family. Exactly right.
Yeah, we're family, so don't take it personal. Let's all just...
Hey, Ramon wants us to keep going. What's up, Ramon? Ramon says keep it going. Really? Uh-oh.
What?
Chuck Kelly says, like watching Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. Gator version.
Chuck, you're showing your age.
Look at this. No, look at this.
Oh, he's a young guy. I am Dean Martin, by the way.
Yeah.
He's my hero.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah,
hey, we have a little stay loyal to the kingdom here?
Oh, boy.
Do we have that? Here, buddy, hold this. You want to kiki with me?
No.
Come on, stand up. No. Come on, as we go
No,
on.
that's not my deal.
Come on, I'll show you how to kiki. Come on.
No, I don't.
We'll do the... Come
not
on.
tonight.
Come on.
I'm going to kiki out of here.
Why are you going to kiki out of here? You don't even know where the end is.
Yeah, I know how to do that right now. We're going to say goodnight.
I like this part.
Thank you, folks.
What's your net worth?
Thank you, folks, for watching. We're going to say goodnight. I'm tired. I've had a long day. I've been working.
Net worth.
Some people have been kikiing all day.
Net worth.
Have a good one, folks.
I know. I just love that part. I know we're in black. Oh, I know! We just finished! Alright. Love you guys. Like family. Like I love you. Bubba! Lynn. Bubba. Boy Blue. Talk to you tomorrow. Lynn, if you're watching secretly, I love you too. Hey! Admins, mods. Love you guys. God. Let's go beat Tennessee! I hate Tennessee!
Good. It should be about 9 now, right?